What's up, barbarians? We are in Diablo 4, and I want to talk about 4 major differences between Path of Exile and Diablo 4. The first one we are going to look at would be skills. Skills with Diablo 4 are very different from Path of Exile. Right now we are playing Mighty Throw. You click a skill. You can upgrade it 5 times, which increases the damage. You can do something similar in Path of Exile by leveling up the gem. We have to take this enhancement in order to get one of 2 options. For here, we have Battle Bash, which can clobber to get more fury, or we can use Combat Bash. After critical striking 4 times, we get a guaranteed overpower. And with the skills, similar to Path of Exile, where you have to level down the tree. You get more levels, you get more skill points. In Path of Exile, very similar how you level up your character and then you get different skill level gems to level up your skills there. But with every skill that we have on this tree, there are only 2 choices. Basically, a choice is deal more damage or get more fury. Deal more damage or get more damage reduction. And in Path of Exile, the skills are much different from Diablo 4. Here we have skill gems. We have a skill gem here, one right here, and here's another one, Earthquake. There is no basic attack or core attack, weapon master attack. You just have skill gems. I have been using Rolling Slam, and to socket that, you just put it in there, and I have these 2 support gems in it, and it can hold up to 5 support gems. At the moment I'm limited to 2, but I can have up to 5. You can use anything that'll work. So if you see their support skills, there's check marks and X's by which ones this can go and which one they cannot. So right now we have 2 spots, so we're going to put the Fire Infusion back into Rolling Slam, and we could put in Jagged Ground, which would slow enemies, Lacerate, which would make it the slam skill be turned into a bleed skill as well, or Fists of War. This one I really like. Attacks with supported skills are ancestrally boosted, and what that means is it does 20% more damage and it has 20% more area of effect. But it can only happen every 6 seconds. So let's also socket back in there Overpower, because our Rolling Slam does deal a lot of stun buildup. This helps it stun enemies faster. And once we get another slot for another support skill, we could put in Fists of War, making this Rolling Slam even more powerful. Uncut gems are what you transform into your skills. This is a level 1 support gem, and we can transform this uncut skill gem into any one of these skills. You can only have 1 gem of each. If I have 2 lacerates, I cannot put them on 2 skills. I can only have 1 equipped at all times. Number 2, the Paragon system is much different from the passive skill tree, and those 2 aren't a 1-to-1 comparison. With our Paragon boards, we can only get 5 boards, and we have to pick our legendary node, and based on what magic or rare nodes are on the tree. And then we have to pick our glyphs to put into those boards and get points to make those glyphs more powerful. So the Paragon board of D4, pick the glyphs that are going to benefit your build the most, see what multipliers they have on, and get as many nodes as possible. And to try to take the legendary nodes of the board you have if it fits your build. The magic nodes and the rare nodes aren't as significant as the glyphs. So the 2 things you really pick on the board are the legendary node and the spot of where the glyph is and how many points you can get to benefit what glyph you have in that board. The passive skill tree would be the closest thing to the Diablo 4 Paragon board. Even though you do get this from the beginning, it's the closest comparison that I could think of. And this passive skill tree is what usually makes or breaks people from enjoying or turning away from Path of Exile. Just the vast complexity of it by itself. But for me, this is what makes the game more fun. You can literally build your character however you see. For example, we can do more life regeneration. We could have more attack speed. You can go down here and break more armor and do more physical damage. Or if you want, you can respec solely into damage with 2-handed weapons. The amount of things you can do on this tree are just amazing. Right here, if you have a shield, you could have more block chance. Or if I'm dying too much, we could increase our armor. The other cool things about this passive skill tree is nodes like this. Resolute Technique, My hits cannot be evaded, but I can't deal critical damage. Or this one, Giant's Blood. We can wield two-handed weapons with one hand, but we require triple the amount of attributes to use them. If this skill tree is overwhelming, maybe Path of Exile might not be for you. If this looks really cool and enjoyable, you can go on max roll and play around with the skill tree and kind of map out your own character. I'll link that in the description below. Number 3 is crafting. Crafting would be the same as tempering and masterworking. With the crafting system, we have to find these in the world and then we add them to our weapon. And once we have them, it is random, it's a bit of a gamble, and we gotta hope that our tempering lands on the right slot so we don't break our item. We do have the Scroll of Restoration, but you can only use it once per item. With this, I have still bricked weapons. Once you temper, then we can increase things by 5% with our Masterworkings, which increases the whole weapon. I do enjoy the Masterworking and the tempering system from Diablo 4. I also enjoy the crafting system for Path of Exile 2. I think both have pros and cons. Both fit the game they have well. I think if you were to put crafting in to Diablo 4 how it is with Path of Exile, it wouldn't quite work. So you take a normal weapon right here, and you add an Orb of Transmutation, which will take the normal weapon into a magic weapon with one random modifier. So let's do that. Okay, 15% increased physical damage and 16% accuracy rating. We don't need accuracy rating because I just showed you Resolute Technique, which means our hits will always hit. Accuracy, they can no longer evade our attacks. Accuracy is not needed. And we got lucky and we actually have 2 modifiers on this. It is only supposed to have 1, then normally you would have to use another Orb of Augmentation to roll a second thing on this item. Because I don't have the orb that we need to make this into a rare item, we're done crafting this for a moment. We can also add a blacksmith wheatstone to improve the quality, which will increase the damage of the weapon. Use one of these right here, and it'll say 3, and it'll go to 6%, and our physical damage will go up. There we go. And all the modifiers on the weapon are completely random. So you can go through a lot of different weapons and see if some are good, some are bad, some are junk, and it takes a lot of rolls to get something good that you would like. But that's part of the fun of crafting. You can craft everything, absolutely everything. Rings, armor, amulets, belts. You can even craft your potions. And difference number 4, which is arguably the biggest difference, is the gameplay loop and the actual gameplay. In Diablo 4, it is very high paced and it's very fast. And the way you kill monsters is more or less easy, quick pace, punch them in a group, and just go on to the next one. So right here, we're just in pit 90 and we are literally just crushing monsters as fast as we can, and we're going to the next group. We don't really think about if they're going to kill us, or how we have to approach them. It is very, very different from Path of Exile, where this is a more high path, where this is a more high-paced gameplay, kind of like an arcade style. And the gameplay loop. As you'll see here, the gameplay loop is much different from Diablo 4. You have to use dodge, and attacking groups usually takes much longer. The combat is more slow, thought out, and boss fights take much longer. On Act 1, I was stuck on that boss for an hour and 20 minutes. But once I finally beat him, it was very, very satisfying. The actual controls of both games feel very, very smooth. And I definitely do enjoy both games. But both games are very different. They are in the same genre, but they couldn't be more further away from each other. And how they play, how they feel, and the amount of commitment that you really need to play. Path of Exile is definitely far more complex than Diablo 4. But that's not necessarily a good or bad thing, it's just different. One thing I like about Diablo 4 is how casual it is and how arcadey it feels. I think that's a lot of fun. In my opinion, both have their pros and cons, and I enjoy both because Diablo is so simple and because Path of Exile is so complex. They both do different things, and I think both are great games. That's why moving forward, I do plan on doing content for both games. That is the 4 major differences between Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2. Both are great games. Because these games are so different, I do feel that there is room for both of them in the ARPG world. I think everyone can like both and not have to be in PoE 2 good, D4 bad camp. I don't see any reason why you can't play both. I personally like both games and I like them for different reasons. After watching this video, if you think that Path of Exile looks interesting, give it a try. Those are the 4 distinct differences that really separate them both apart. Hopefully this can help you decide if you should give Path of Exile a try. But if not, I will see you guys in Season 7 of Diablo 4. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.